We just witnessed hockey history as the Vancouver Canucks just pulled off the greatest rally we've ever seen, fighting tooth and nail to keep the season alive and showing the best of this team when fully clicking, and one player in particular leading the way to victory. We're going to be breaking down all that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first, if you're part of the 61% that aren't subscribed and you want to stay up to date on all things Canucks, we're on our way to 7,000 subscribers, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of the updates when they drop. And with that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is we just witnessed NHL history. So in a must-win game, the Vancouver Canucks were able to not only force overtime and get the win, but pull off the greatest rally we have seen in NHL history. We're going to get into that in a second, but looking at the scoring, it was a very quiet first and second period for Vancouver, obviously not getting any scoring, but then the third period, the floodgates opened up with Jake DeBrusk getting it open in the very early first minute of the third period on a power play, with Victor Mancini scoring only a few minutes later on the second power play goal of the game for Vancouver. Then Dallas kind of got ahead a bit more with a 4-2 and then 5-2 lead with the two goals by Bourque and Granlund. But then Aatu Räty and Pius Suter put the team on their back in the final 2 minutes of the game to force overtime, where Kiefer Sherwood was able to pound it home for the game winner. And this is where it gets historic, is that with the Canucks storming back from 5-2 down with 2:21 left in the third to tie in Dallas, they win 6-5 in OT to avoid elimination. They're the first team in NHL history to win after erasing a 3-goal deficit in the final minute of regulation. And when you look at the other teams that have done this in the past, it is not even close as to the time difference that they were able to do it in. Vancouver was absolutely on fire in that last minute. They knew they needed to win this game, and they said, hey, our season is on the brink of ending right here, right now. If you want to keep fighting to live another day, let's prove it right here. And Pius Suter and Aatu Räty absolutely did that, putting the team on their back. And Pius Suter, once again, proving why you need to pay this man at the end of the season. Everyone will say, yeah, it's in a contract year and maybe he's only capable of 24 or 25 goals. But what has he been doing this season? He's been scoring the biggest goals for the Canucks, especially as of late, as since taking over as our number one center, with Elias Pettersson being out for seemingly almost the end of the regular season. He isn't going on this 2-game road trip, so that's not a good sign already. But with that, Vancouver needed to win this game. Are their playoff chances all but slim to none? Pretty much. However, they're not giving up. They're not willing to give up. They're all competitors at the end of the day. They're not just going to roll over. They still have that competitive integrity as professional hockey players to say, hey, we're not going to roll over and play dead. We're going to keep fighting until the very end, until our elimination chance is absolutely at zero. We're absolutely done with our playoff hopes. That is when we're going to keep fighting, and they absolutely did that tonight. And no one more so than Aatu Räty, Pius Suter, and Kiefer Sherwood absolutely demolishing what they needed to do, and they made it happen. Obviously, Quinn Hughes, he had a great game as expected. Filip Hronek, he's really been playing great as of late. But Aatu Räty is really starting to turn it on lately. And when we look at his stats from the month of March and April, yes, only playing in a handful of games, but look at the impact he is making in those games, getting 3 goals for 3 points in March, and then again tonight getting a goal and an assist for 2 points, adding on to his April total for 2 goals, 1 assist, and 3 points. It has been a really nice month for him as well. So I definitely think we're going to see Aatu Räty as a permanent resident of this Vancouver Canucks roster next season. It's going to be amazing to see him just have a full season with this Canucks roster, as well as maybe some other Canucks prospects that we could see jump from the AHL to the NHL full time. But Aatu Räty has definitely earned his spot as a Canucks bottom sixer for the forwards next season. Absolutely. He's been playing fantastic. He was great in Abbotsford last season. He was great in Abbotsford this season, and he's been really solid for Vancouver this season as well, especially in the past few games where he's absolutely turned it on when he's gotten the opportunities. Obviously, Pius Suter, we showed you the graphic a few episodes ago showing how effective he has been this past few games, and especially since taking over as the number one center. He's got 11 points in those 8 games, absolutely on a tear, and proving why, hey, pay me. If you don't want me to go to any other team, or you don't want to try and risk another center that can fit in this system and step up when your top center is hurt, look no further. Pius Suter is the guy. We don't need to look any further than free agency and overpaying for a guy or trying to get a veteran that we might not get as many years out of. We got our guy right in the building, and the Canucks need to absolutely sign Pius Suter. I know I've been saying that Brock Boeser is the top priority, but Pius Suter has been really making a case these past few weeks as to why, hey, maybe I'm the top priority free agency signing you guys got coming up as far as bringing back. Obviously, me being a Brock Boeser fanboy, I'm going to say bring Brock back absolutely as the top priority. But Pius Suter has absolutely been playing his ass off this season in general and just these past few weeks. And I've loved to see it just absolutely pay off, not only for him, but for the Canucks in some victories. Overall, though, on the game stat sheets, this wasn't a game that we should have won. Losing and getting the edge on shots on goal thanks to an offensive outpouring in the later part of the third period. But the faceoff percentage wasn't exactly what we want. Elias Pettersson not being there is absolutely a big result of that. On the power play as well, our penalty kill has been some of the best in hockey, especially in the past few months and overall throughout the season. However, tonight our penalty kill was absolutely terrible, giving up 3 out of 4. That absolutely cannot happen, especially if we by some miracle squeak into the playoffs. Obviously that can't happen, especially going forward into next season. Got to work on making sure games like that don't happen. But on the power play, we were able to get some things going as well, going 2 for 4, which is obviously really solid, especially when our power play hasn't really been our forte this season and last season as well. Penalty minutes, dead even right there. You got the hits, a very physical game, especially from Kiefer Sherwood, just trying to be an absolute bull out there in a china shop, whether it's getting a shot on net, getting a hit, setting up a guy. He has been an absolute beast for the Canucks this season. Block shots, Vancouver could not lay the body as much in front of the puck as much as Dallas did, but thankfully we were able to score a bit more goals than they did. Giveaways were absolutely terrible for Vancouver. Need to work on puck security. You cannot have a giveaway differential like that. Takeaways, obviously those weren't as high, so not as many chances for that. But the giveaways, you can't help but wonder that is exactly why Vancouver found themselves in the spot that they did late in this game where they needed to put on a late game rally. Very surprising that we didn't see our usual suspects score except for Pius Suter. However, we did see some usual suspects in the assist column as well. So yeah, Vancouver, we were able to get the puck spread around a lot. We were able to spread the puck around. We were able to spread the love, and we were able to get a lot of goals going. And it seems like this Vancouver team, inconsistency has been the name of the game for Vancouver, where we can go in and get our butts whooped by a terrible team or barely hang in there against a team that we absolutely should be steamrolling. But then we go in and we steamroll a top team like the Winnipeg Jets, or we go in there and we have a rally the way we did that is unprecedented in NHL history against a team that could honestly go and win the Stanley Cup this year in the Dallas Stars. So with Vancouver, it's been such a crazy thing where if we could only have played like this all season, despite all the drama, despite all the injuries, we were still able to show up in these games somehow where we were able to beat a team like the Winnipeg Jets 6-2. We were able to score 3 goals right in a matter of 2 minutes against the Dallas Stars. Why couldn't we keep up this consistency all season? Yeah, 82 games is a long time to do it. However, when you're a former playoff team and a team that won the division last year, consistency like that should not have been a problem the way it was this season. However, really nice to see them just get an absolute monster of a win. Will it mean as much in the long run? Not if we lose our next game. However, you still can live to fight another day. And yes, our playoff hopes are basically slim to none at this point. However, there still is that very tiny sliver of a chance. Call me delusional if you guys want, but I'm still holding on for a little bit of hope because, hey, that's really all we got right now. All we got is hope, and yeah, will it lead to disappointment if we don't get there? Probably. However, it still gives us something fun to cheer for instead of just meaningless games. As long as we're winning and hanging in there, yeah, it could lead up to a massive disappointment in that final game of the regular season against Vegas. However, at least the ride up until that point could be a lot more enjoyable than it would be if we're already eliminated. But what did you guys think overall on this game as a whole? How excited were you in those final 2 minutes? Probably a lot of you guys probably turned the game off thinking it was absolutely over. But the ones of you guys, the ones that did stick around and watched all 60 minutes, What was your living room looking like? How crazy were you guys looking? Let us know what you guys had to say and what you guys were feeling down in the comments down below as far as through the first 2/3 of the game, basically almost the entirety of the game until those last 2 minutes, that roller coaster of emotions. Let us know how you guys feel down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss a new update. So we'll be back at you guys with another video tomorrow. But with that, I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.